Good morning guys, and welcome to another episode. So I'm currently down south still. There's 48 days left until my first HYROX competition, which means that we're 6 weeks out. It's coming along really fast. I'm going to be taking you through my long run today, which is a progressive 19-kilometer run. I'm starting off with 6 kilometers at a comfortable pace, so probably around a 5:30 per kilometer pace, and then slowly work my way out from there. So I've got 6 kilometers at 4:50, 6 kilometers at 4:35, and then finishing off with a 1 kilometer sprint for 4:30. So body's feeling pretty good. I'm getting my run in later than I'd like to. It's currently 8:47, so by the time I finish my run, it's probably gonna be around 10:30 or so. So hopefully it's not too hot by the time I finish, but we'll give it a hot crack. So I'm going to be running from Husky all the way to Hyams Beach, which is around 8 kilometers, and then making my way back. It's a beautiful coastal run, so I'm going to be showing you the views along my run, and the weather's amazing as well, so should be a good day. Woo. $600 meters left until I finish the first lot of my run. Then I'm going for another 6Ks at a 4:50 per kilometer pace. I've currently been averaging a 5:09 pace, so feeling good at the moment. It's only getting tougher from here. All right, so I made it to Hyams Beach. It took 45 minutes. I did 8.75 kilometers, and my average pace is currently 5:06. So I'm about halfway through my next segment of run, which is the 4:50 per kilometer pace for 6 kilometers. So I've got a few more kilometers I've got to go before I start doing my faster runs, but gonna have a bit of a break. Gotta enjoy the water. It's definitely hot. It's like 9:30 at the moment, so the heat's starting to creep in. Feeling good. Let's enjoy the water. All right, swims all done. Just having a quick walk before I start my run back up again. About 20 minutes ago, I took one of the gels, which has 26 grams of carbs. It's going to help fuel my performance, especially with the faster runs that I've got coming up soon. And also, I've got an electrolyte capsule that I'm about to take now, and that's just going to prevent dehydration and cramping as well, especially since it's 10:30 and I've got another 45 minutes of running, so it's definitely going to start heating up. So just trying to do whatever I can to prevent the chance of me cramping, dehydrating, and obviously fueling my performance as well. Let's go. All right, so last quick break before I finish off this run. I've got 1.5 kilometers to go, so I'm having a quick gel, giving myself about 30 seconds, and then getting on with it. So I've got 500 meters of 4:35, and then 1 kilometer at 4:30. So the last stint's definitely going to be a struggle. Hopefully by the time I start running that pace, this is kicked in. So let's see how we go with the end results. All right, so the run has been completed. It was tough, especially considering that I ran later than I would have liked to. I finished my run, well, it's 12 o'clock at the moment, so I probably finished about half an hour ago, 45 minutes ago. And the heat definitely got to me towards the end. But just a bit of a recap with my stats. So it was 19 kilometers in total. There was a few stoppages along the way. I did get lost a few times going towards Hyams Beach and back, and a bit of the course was also off trail. So I was just trying to navigate my way through the course. The first 6 kilometers was supposed to be a comfortable conversational pace, which then I ended up hitting a 5:09. I'm going to put the stats up very soon. I'm just trying to memorize it based on what was on my phone. I went a 5:09. It's supposed to be a conversational pace, so I probably should have went a bit more slower with that. And then the next 6 kilometers was supposed to be about a 450. That ended up being 509, 508, so a bit slower than I would have liked to, but yet again, it was off track and a bit hilly when I was doing that part of the run. So the second part of the run was around a 428, which I wanted around 435, so I was pretty happy with that. Then I paused the watch for the last 1.5 kilometers, had a quick gel, and then finished off the run. And my last stint, which was the last kilometer, I got around a 420, which I wanted around a 430 pace, so I finished off strong. But it was definitely hot. Glad that I completed it, and it was a beautiful day as well. It was supposed to be a rainy day, and when I went outside this morning, I was like, sun's out, I'm gonna go for a swim as well halfway through. So whoever held out, it was a good run. I'm hungry, so it's time for a feed. I've got a wog roll in my car waiting for me, which is my typical go-to meal right after a run. I'm just starving, and I do love the wog roll, which I have. It's the French roll with ricotta, olives, mortadella, don't hate me, prosciutto, and cheese. So I'm looking forward to devouring that. It's really important after your run to get in carbs, to get in protein. Also, when you're doing longer stints, especially in the heat and fast paces, you need to make sure that you are hydrating. You need to make sure that you are fueling your body to perform, to prevent dehydration. And that's the reason why I had 2 gels, and that's the reason why I had 2 lots of electrolytes. So I had one before I started running, which had around 400 milligrams of sodium, so the capsule that I had. And then halfway through, I had another capsule. And yet again, that's just to prevent dehydration on the way. I should have brought one of my water bottles, but I didn't think about it. I left it at home, unfortunately. So I did stop along the way to have some water, and yeah, let's move on with the day. Just quickly, this is the roll that I was talking about. If you've not tried your cold meat sandwiches with ricotta, I highly recommend. It just adds a whole different form of flavoring and texture to your rolls, so don't skip on it. All right, so I just arrived home from the run, and I was just having a think over my running journey over the past year and how far I've come since I first started. And I think a mindset shift that I had a couple of years ago with my career of bodybuilding and now running has been just to enjoy the process of what you're pursuing in, rather than being so fixated on the end result. And I think a lot of people tend to be so fixated on their end goal. So whether it's running a certain time or distance, losing a certain amount of weight as well. When you're so fixated on that end product, that end result, you don't tend to enjoy the process of what you're doing. And I think this is the biggest reason why people can't adhere to their goals or enjoy the process of what they're pursuing in. And that's why I believe it's so important to goal set and to find the reason why you're trying to achieve what you're trying to achieve. And although it's good to have the external motivation at the very beginning, it's really important to focus on what drives you and motivates you internally to get better, to become better. And I think for me, over the past year, I've seen a lot of progress regarding my running. I'm very proud of it. And it's so easy to compare myself to the next person that's able to run faster than me, or possibly they're fitter than me. But at the end of the day, I know that I will eventually get there. Just like bodybuilding, I've been bodybuilding for the past 11 years. When I first started, I just knew that I'll get to this position that I'm in right now if I'm just patient, if I just endure the process. And a lot of people are so fixated on comparing themselves to the next person, and that's what becomes a bit more demotivating, and it can become very deconstructive regarding their progress and motivation. So my biggest tip, especially with the new year that's come through, is first of all, goal setting is very important. Set those realistic goals that are short-term, that are long-term. However, enjoy the process, endure the process. There is going to be ups, there is going to be downs. You're not going to be targeting your goals on a smooth linear scale. So I think just accepting that and understand, like, yes, it's not going to be pretty, but I will eventually get there if I stay consistent. So I think that's a huge motivation spike, but also keeping yourself accountable, telling someone what your goals are, what you're looking to achieve, putting it out into the universe. I feel like people are a lot more motivated and accountable if they do so. And if you're not sure, reach out to someone, reach out to a professional, reach out to someone that actually understands what you're trying to pursue in better than what you actually do, because at the end of the day, more likely than not, they're going to help you out. And it's just all a learning curve. So I've come a long way over the past year regarding my running. Pretty much the same pace that I ran a year ago for 10Ks. I just did that for 19 kilometers with a lot more elevation, and it was off-road running as well. So I've reflected based on my progress. I'm proud of how far I've come. I would love to run a 3-hour marathon. I would also love to run 3 minutes and 30 seconds per kilometer for an 8-kilometer stint. But I'm not there yet. I'm not ready for it. And honestly, I'm excited because it's going to take some time to get there. And at the end of the day, I'm going to see myself progressing and getting better week by week. So it will eventually come as long as I stay consistent. I'm not going to get so caught up on the numbers and the stats. I know that if I do stick to the process and chip away at it, I will eventually get there. So some New Year tips from myself. If you guys have any questions regarding any fitness goals, nutrition goals, anything like that, hit me up, let me know. And yeah, it's been a good couple weeks of January so far. The sun's shining. I love being out in the sun. I love going out to the beach. So this is definitely my happy month, happy season. And yeah, guys, thanks for sticking around, and I'll see you guys soon.